Today I was planning to talk on the factors of blessing, but I was suspectful about the crowd. So I decided to talk equally important, equally significant topic, which is the mind and the karma. Yeah? Now, the stanza I selected is from the Dhammapada, and it is one of the beginning stanzas that you find in the Dhammapada. Yeah, Dhammapada, you may have heard about it, right? A book of stanzas. Actually, it is not a separate teaching that the Buddha gave. It is not something separately given. All the verses that they could find in the Tipitaka, the three baskets, the monks in the olden days gathered these verses and put it in a separate book. It is called Dhammapada. Yeah? If you can find that book one day, you can go on reading. Don't worry about the Pali. Read the translations and you will find such a beautiful advices giving to you when you are fallen down emotionally, when you are so disturbed, when you are full of negativities. You can just read that book, few pages, and you will find yourself uplifting. Yeah, such a beautiful book. So I found this first stanza as something very significant for us to understand the quintessence of the Buddhism, the essence of Buddhism. Buddha says, Mano Pubbangama Dhamma. Dhamma. Dhamma signifies all what we can perceive, or all what we call who we are. Who we are. Who am I? Buddha says, you are Nama and Rupa. You are mind and body. This is the general, the normal explanation for this physical body, for this life. I am mind and body. What is mind? There are several contents in the term what we call the mind. That is feelings, perceptions and mental formations. Feelings, Vedana, perceptions, Sankhara and mental formations, Vijnana. These are the contents you find in the mind, in the so-called mind. But Buddha says, prior to these feelings, perception and then mental formations, now if I explain this in another way, you feel something, you understand it, then you react to it. You get this? Easier, right? In the Buddha's language, he said, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara. Feeling, perception, and mental formation. Buddha says, prior to these things comes what? Cognition. Cognizing. What is the factor behind the cognizing? Mind. Mind cognizes. This is the action of the mind. If you do not cognize, no feelings will be there, no perceptions, and of course there will be no formations, mental formations. Yeah. Now, when we are born, when we take our birth, what comes first to this mother's womb? Mind or the body? Mind comes first. Consciousness, vijnana, comes first into the womb. We call it or we give it another name. Gandhabba comes into the body. Vijnana comes into the body, then the body starts growing up. So that, in that sense also, mind is the forerunner, beginner. That is why Buddha says, you name whatsoever you want to name. Mind comes the first. Mano pubbangama dhamma. Pubbangama, the forerunner, the beginner, the initiator is the mind. Mano pubbangama dhamma. Mano siddha manomaya. Among all the dhammas, mano, the mind is the chief. Mind is the chief among all the dhammas. Manomaya. Everything what you know, what you see. Manomaya, made by mind. Mind made. Mind is the maker. Mind is the creator. Now, this is how Buddha elevated the status of the mind. Remember, mind in the sense of cognizing, not in the sense of thinking actually, but in the sense of cognizing. This is the action of the mind, to cognize. After the cognition happened, what happened? Feeling happens. Then you perceive it. And according to the perception, you react to it. That reaction creates some kind of accumulation within you. That accumulation we call what? Sankhara. Sankhara. Yeah. In the Buddha's language, he said sankhara. Translated, we can call it mental formations. Yeah. Now, Buddha says, this is the nature of the mind. It foreruns pubbangama, and it is the greatest siddha, and everything is made out of mind. Or the mind is the creator, manomaya. Then he goes on, manasa che pasannena bhasativa karotiva. Here manasa. What is this manasa? It is not just mind. Manasa here means intention, chetana. Buddha says, with a pasanna intention, with a pure intention. With a pure intention. What is this pure intention? Now, how to say or how to define yourself? My intention is pure. On the surface level, generally, when something happens, when an action happens, do you have the authority over an action? Action can go wrong. You do something with a very good intention. You wanted to help him. Now, I had such a very bad experience. Once a group of Indians, they were security guards nearby my temple in Malaysia. And these guys, they got a very low salary. They were having families in India. They have to take care of their families also. So I thought one day I want to give them a dinner. Yeah. So I got one of my devotees to get some food. I gave him the money. Please bring some food for these people for the dinner. Then we did that. Of course, I was not there in that moment of giving that food. My devotee got that food for these people and he gave those food for them. Next day, I wanted to ask them how was the food. Were they delicious or not? Then none of these people are talking to me. I wanted to talk to them, but none of them even looking at me, showing me very angry faces. I was very upset. What's happening? What's going on? And I couldn't contain myself, I asked them, what happened? We are all vegetarians. You gave us chicken. How should I know? I didn't know that. I just wanted to give you a delicious dinner and I didn't give any kind of specifics for the devotee. He just went to the McDonald's and got food from there. Oh, that night they haven't taken dinner. No dinner for them that night. You see, good intention went bad. Yeah, it went bad, completely bad. This is how action can go wrong. Action has no control for us, yeah, but our intention is pure. So when the actions go wrong, don't worry about it, yeah. No need to regret about it. Just look at your intention. If your intention is pure, that intention has non-hatred in it. That intention has love in it, metta in it. That intention has non-greed in it. Non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion in it. If your intention has these three qualities, you have a pure intention. Pasanna chitta, pure mind, is a mind without greed, hatred and delusion. So Buddha says, if you do something with a pure mind, and then the results come behind you, the results will start following you, chayava anapayini, like the never-leaving shadow. The shadow. This is the Buddha's comparison for your merits, for the results of your good actions. The results of the good actions will follow you like your shadow. Now, the shadow is something we never care about, right? We never look back and check whether the shadow is following me or not. Yeah. When you are coming out of the home, whether the shadow is inside the home still or not, you don't check. But the shadow is always following you. Why Buddha compared this shadow to your merits? Because as I see, as I understand, we always take for granted. We always never appreciate. We always never think about our good fortune. Yeah? We always ignore the fortune of others. When you look at our body, we have well-functioning eyes, we can talk, can hear properly, can understand something as a normal human being. We have a well-functioning mind, a brain well-functioning, and we can walk. Such a perfect body, without even asking, the nature has given to us. The life has given to us. How much we appreciate this life, this perfect life. And how much or how many number of people just like us who cannot see, cannot hear, cannot walk, limited to the wheelchairs for the whole life since they are very birth, and who cannot think, who cannot do their daily activities by themselves. How many millions of people like us existing on this earth like that? They will give anything for them to hear their parents' voice, for them to hear a music, for them to see the light, for them to see the outside world. They will give anything for them to walk a bit. Yeah. But we always take this for granted. We never appreciate it. How valuable it is. And all the other things that this life has given to us. We have a roof over our head. How many millions in the world without a roof over their head? Yeah. We complain when the heater of the house little broken and we are getting cold. We complain a lot. But all those people on the roads, yeah, keeping cardboard underneath to be protected from this cold. Yeah. We are very fortunate. Our merit is always ignored. Haven't seen. And we complain, I don't have this, I don't have that. And we ignore the much valuable things we have. That is why I think Buddha compared this shadow as to our merits. Yeah? As we ignore the shadow, never look at the shadow, we also never look at our fortunate side of the life. Yeah? So Buddha compared this shadow to our merits. Now, if we look at this stanza, once more, to have a clear understanding, Buddha says, Mano Pubbangama Dhamma. You name whatsoever Dhamma, whatsoever nature, including you yourself and others, mind is the forerunner. Mano Settha Manomaya. Among all the Dhammas, mind is the Settha, chief. Manomaya, everything is mind-made. Everything is made out of this mind. Beginning is the mind. Materials came later. Manasa che pasannena bhasativa karotiva. If one acts, talk, or think with a pure mind. What is that pure mind? A mind without greed, hatred and delusion. With that pure intention, if you talk or if you act, the results of your words and the results of your action will follow you. Chayava anapayini. Like the never leaving shadow, they will start following you here, hereafter, life to life. Now, why Buddha gave this beautiful stanza or uttered this beautiful stanza? Because of what? Now, this story was there. Once, there was a Brahmin, a very rich man, a millionaire, and he had a son. Now this father and son, Brahmin had a weakness. That weakness is he's very stingy. Extremely stingy. That he doesn't enjoy his wealth and he doesn't allow his family or anybody else to enjoy his wealth. Since the father is so stingy and he's not enjoying his wealth, have you seen some people like that? I have seen. Some are very rich, but they don't enjoy their money. What's the point of money if you are not enjoying it? Yeah. I know some people, I have met some people, their money is not even in their countries. In Switzerland, in Swiss bank. And they are living in a very general manner, very simple way. It doesn't mean they like the simple life. It means they don't want to spend money. Yeah. Why people are like this? The reason Buddha has given. The reason is they have practiced generosity in their past lives. They have done dana. They have given things in their past lives. They gave, they got. But after the practice of generosity or after the giving, what happened was they regretted about it. Why did I give? I should have kept it with myself. I should have used it for me. Why did I give to him? This is regret, right? And how? Why did I spend that much of money? I should have spent less. This is regret, right? Because they regretted about their generosity, now they cannot enjoy what they got. That's why Buddha very clearly has taught us, before you give something, you reflect about it. Whether you can be happy about it later. People should do that. I have seen in Sri Lanka this incident, that when a stupa is built in temples, the monks arrange some exhibition to exhibit the relics of the Buddha to the people before they enshrine. Now this happened. A rich lady maybe, when she worships these relics, she offers her earrings, her necklace, or some kind of wrist wearing, or a ring. Because she has money, she can do that. Now the ladies behind her watching this, they also want to follow. What do? They also take their earrings and offer the Buddha. Though the Buddha doesn't have anything to do with the gold, they just offer because they want to follow, or they just blindly follow that lady. Yeah, I'm sure most of them, when they go back home, when I look at them, I know when they go back home and when they look at the mirror and they see no earrings anymore or necklace is gone, instead of feeling happy, they must be cursing that first woman. Why did that woman do that? And why did I follow it? You see, we shouldn't do that. A blind merit is something for regretting later. A merit is to be done for your happiness, not somebody else's happiness. For your happiness. Then you have to think, reflect, whether you can be happy after my donation, after this giving, after this meritorious deed, whether I can be happy. This is what matters. To make sure you don't have regrets. That's the Buddha's very clear teaching. Yeah, it's a very clear teaching. Reflect before giving. So something like that must have happened for this Brahmin. He doesn't use his wealth. Not only he doesn't use, he doesn't allow his children, his family to use it. And it so happened, this young boy grew up in a very unhealthy state. He was very weak, very thin. When he was about to wear his earrings, you know, those days even males, they wear earrings. What the father did was, he took 2 pieces of gold, crushed them and hung on the ears of the boy. So since he was wearing this crushed pieces of gold at his earrings, he was called Matta Kundali. Matta means crushed. Yeah. Now this Matta Kundali grew up as a very weak, unhealthy young boy, and by the time of 16, 17, he got this sickness because of the malnutrition. When he was sick, father was not ready to spend money for the doctors. So he gave local herbals to cure the son, but the sickness got worse and this son is dying. He's dying now. When the son was dying, what did the father do was, he didn't want to keep the son inside the home, because people might come into the house, and they will see the wealth in the house. It's not a good thing. Yeah. So he dragged the son with his bed to the veranda, to the outside the house. Now can you imagine the consciousness, the mind setup of this young man? He was full of anger, full of hatred towards his father. Yeah? Because of my father's stinginess, my childhood was destroyed. I didn't have a normal childhood because of my father. Now I am about to die because of my father. Naturally, he must have been filled with anger and hatred at this moment of death. And the Buddha saw this. Early morning when the Buddha wake up, he looked at the world with his mind's eye. He roamed in the world with his mind to find a person to help, to support. For what? To be transformed, to be changed. That person must be worthy of the Buddha's support for his transformation. Early morning when the Buddha was roaming, checking to see to whom that he can be a help today, he saw this young man dying in the veranda. And Buddha thought, I must help this young man. And Buddha came to this place. When the Buddha came to this place, he was lying down facing the house. So it says Buddha sent some rays of his Buddha, we call it Buddha Rashmi, the rays of the Buddha, the 6 colors coming out of his body. Yeah. It was emanated and he got the attention from this young man. And when he saw the Buddha, this young man, this young Matta Kundali, when he saw the Buddha, a transformation, a change naturally happened. Buddha's appearance is that magical. Yeah. People changed merely seeing the Buddha, people changed. Now, in those days, when he was about to be enlightened, he was sitting under a tree around 5 o'clock in the morning, waiting for the right time to go for the arms round. He was sitting under a tree. Now this tree was considered as a tree for a deity. A deity is residing in this tree. This is the story known to the people. So people came time to time to offer things to this tree, actually to the deity in the tree. A young girl came to this place to clean the place because her mistress is coming to do a milk rice offering for the tree, for the deity in the tree. Then this young girl, as soon as she saw the Bodhisattva sitting under the tree, the thoughts came to her mind was, the deity has come down to the ground to receive the offerings personally today. That kind of an appearance was the Buddha's appearance. People thought this is a deity walking on the earth. This is a deity in the human form. Such a magical appearance after his enlightenment. Now, we haven't seen the Buddha, right? Have you seen the Buddha? No, we haven't seen. We have seen the image of the Buddha. But remember, for 500 years, there were no Buddha's images. Only after 500 years, the sculptors started creating the Buddha images. Only after 500 years. Now, if you go to India, there is a famous stupa that the people go to visit all the time. That is Sanchi Stupa. Around this Sanchi Stupa, the Buddha's life story is carved, but there is no Buddha's image in this life story. Instead of the Buddha, they have depicted a tree, an umbrella, or a chair, or the footprints, not the Buddha's image. This is after 300 years. So that means the people who carved, the people who painted the Buddha's image are the people who have never seen the Buddha. That is why all those Buddhist countries have different types of Buddha image. China, they have Chinese Buddha with small eyes, but Buddha is an Indian guy. How can he has small eyes? Impossible, right? And Korea, Buddha has a little mustache. But in Sri Lankan Buddha, we don't have a mustache. This is the artist in those countries relevant to the confidence, faith of the followers of the Buddha, relevant to the mind setup of the followers. They created this Buddha image. That is why they have all sorts of Buddha images in these countries, because none of them have seen the Buddha. Now, I got this question once. There is this video in YouTube. Somebody has gone to hell and he has seen the Buddha in the hell. Now, this is to look down upon the Buddha. This is to look down upon Buddhism. He has seen the Buddha in the hell. Then I just asked him one question. What Buddha did you see? The Sri Lankan Buddha, Thai Buddha, or Japanese Buddha? What Buddha did you see there? Because if you think you saw the Buddha, That means you have seen the Buddha on the earth, right? Otherwise, if you meet the Buddha on the road, the real Buddha, you may have never accepted that this is the real Buddha because you have a different image about the Buddha. Yeah? That different image is your cultural image, not the real Buddha. Your cultural image. So, we should understand this way. Yeah? But we can understand it based on these stories. That the Buddha must be such a person when just in his presence people get transformed, people get changed. This is what happened to Bhatta Kundali. He saw the Buddha. That appearance of the Buddha completely changed him. His anger, his hatred washed away. Instead of that, a great happiness pervaded his mind. Great happiness filled his mind with this appearance of the Buddha. What is this great happiness? Great happiness based on saddha, based on confidence towards the Buddha. He did not have the strength to put his palms together and worship the Buddha. No, he was such a weak person, about to die, but his mind was filled with happiness. And the next moment he passed away. And it says he was born in the Thavatingsa realm, the heavenly realms of the 33. Yeah. The story goes on. Later on, when his father was so sad about his son's death, he was crying every day at the cemetery. And the Buddha told him, you don't need to worry. Your son is in the Thavatingsa realm as a divine being. The father didn't believe it. How come? How can he be born in the Thavatingsa realm? Because for my knowledge, he hasn't done anything good in the life. The Buddha said, just before the death, he changed his mind. He was transformed. His mind was so blissful, happy, just before the death. And his next life was a blissful one, happy one. Yeah. This is the nature. What just happened before our death, even though a person who hasn't done any sort of good things in his past life, in his life, while he was living, but just before the death, if his mind is changed into something good, his next life can be good. Because the next life is decided according to the last moments of the present life. It is like this. I always give this example. If you go to sleep angry at night, in anger, if you go to sleep, how will you wake up? Wake up also angry. Yeah? If you go to sleep sad at night, how will you wake up? Same thing. The ending of the night, the way you end the night will decide the way you begin the day. It is common even for our next life. The next life is decided based on the way you end up this present life. Yeah? Now there is a misunderstanding in Buddhism that people think Chuti Chitta, the death consciousness is the deciding factor of the next life. No, it is not. Not the death consciousness itself. Death consciousness or the consciousness at the death, at the moment of death, is not the deciding factor. Just before the death consciousness, there are 5 Javana Chittas We can talk about this one day. Yeah. These 5 Javana Chittas are the deciding factor of the next life. That means just before the death, what type of consciousness we maintain is the deciding factor of the next life. Just before the death. Yeah. So, for the joy and happiness of the Matta Kundali, just before the death, his consciousness had such a happy, blissful thoughts, blissful nature. That's why he reincarnated, he took rebirth in one of the heavens. Yeah. That's why Buddha says, if you have pasanna manasa, if your consciousness is without anger, hatred and delusion, at that moment your consciousness is nothing but providing you the energy to get the happy, blissful results in the future. Yeah? So whatever action we perform, kayena, vacha, bodily and verbal, whatever action we perform, what matters is intention behind. Right? We have to look back and see what kind of intention we are maintaining while we are doing the action. If we are maintaining kind of a mentality which is without greed, hatred and delusion, that means our result is a pleasant one. Action can go wrong, but the intention is pure. Intention is at your authority. Action has no authority, but intention has. Now the second verse goes. The second verse of these twin verses, Buddha says, Mano pubbangama dhamma mano settha manomaya manasache paduttena bhasativa karotiva. Paduttena manasa. Buddha says with a evil, wicked intention. With an evil, wicked intention, bhasativa karotiva. If you talk or act, the result of your talking and acting will follow you chakkam vahato padam. Like the cart wheel follows the oxen. Follows the oxen. See, Buddha compares the evil results or the bad karma, bad karmic results to what? To a cart for an oxen. To a cart for an ox. Now, if you bind a cart to an ox, have you seen that? Yeah? It is a suffering, great suffering. Wherever the ox goes, the cart will follow. The ox has no escape. Crying and weeping, it has to drag. It has to drag. And we all have a cart behind us. Small, big, and we feel it. We feel it. Now we have fear for the future. What will happen to me tomorrow? What will happen when I get old? Yeah? Do you think I don't have that fear? I have it. Yeah? I don't have a student. One day I was thinking, what will happen when I get old? I don't have anybody to take care of me. I don't have a student now. Yeah? These thoughts, time to time, will come to anybody. All the fear for the future is nothing but the fear for the karma. You may give different names, you may indicate differently, but all the fear you have for the future is all about your karma. Because we do not know what kind of accumulation of karma behind us that are going to give results in the future. The cart is what we are mostly afraid of. The problem is, we are afraid of the results of the karma, but we are not afraid of committing them, right? When we are committing or when we are doing the karma, we are not afraid of. If we are afraid of the action happening, then we are not need to worry about the result at all. So be worried about the action. How do you worry? The intention. Look at your intention. Is my intention in anger, in hatred, in jealousy, in ill will, in greed? Is my intention filled with greed, hatred and delusion? Then the results bound to be full of tears, full of suffering. Yeah? I created these results myself. Today what I am experiencing, I created these results. Here or before here. Yeah? When I was creating the action, I might have done with happy thoughts. Remember, good deeds are done happily, bad deeds are done happily. Yeah? If you are sad, you don't do anything bad. You are doing happily. You are doing it happily. When you hit someone, how do you look at how do you feel when you look at the crying, the person who is in pain now? How do you feel? You feel good. I gave a good slap. I'm happy. Yeah. If you scold someone, or if you use all the bad words and scold someone and make somebody embarrassed or make somebody feel very bad, you feel good. When we are doing something evil, we are happy. And we forget the evil happiness that I am experiencing is something that I am going to face with tears, with sadness. We all forget about the consequences. But if we can look at ourselves and imagine ourselves that I am going to face with tears and sadness for this, then we can avoid that. Yeah? Buddha says, manasa, the intention. If your intention is evil, your words are evil, your actions are evil. If your intention is pure, words are pure, actions are pure. Sometimes people will misunderstand, that is another thing. But your intention is pure. So Buddha asks, with the story, Buddha says, don't bind yourself to a cart. You have to drag it. The story is that there was a monk. He was ordained and he was a monk with so much of effort. Buddha gave him the instructions for meditation and he went for meditation. He decided all these 4 months of rains retreat, I will not sleep. I will not sleep unless or until I attain the Nibbana. Unless or until I am liberated, I will not sleep. This is his determination. He removed the bed from his chamber and he started practicing. Now no sleep. Day and night he is practicing. His eyes start hurting. Uncontrollably tears are falling. But he doesn't stop. The doctors warned him, if you continue like this, there will be bad results. Please have some sleep. But he didn't give up. At the end of the 4 months, he got enlightened. But at the very moment of his enlightenment, he was completely blind. His eyesight completely gone. Now he is a blind arahant. He was called Chakkupala. One day a group of monks came to see him, and they found so much of insects have been crushed and died on the compound of this Chakkupala, Venerable Chakkupala's compound. So much of insects, dead insects. Then they thought, this is not a good monk. He has intentionally killed these insects. And they complained this to the Buddha. Bhagavan, you always say, avoid killing. But one of your followers, one of your students, intentionally killing. Buddha says, did you see this Chakkupala killing these insects? No, we didn't see that. So is Chakkupala. He didn't see these insects. That's why he was walking. He's blind. And then these monks were puzzled. He could become an arahant, but he had such accumulation of very bad karma. He got blind. What is the story behind this? Then the Buddha said, once in one of the lifetimes ago, this monk was a physician, a doctor, eye specialist. One woman, poor woman, came to him and she said, I am almost blind. I cannot see anything. Please help me to get cured. Then this doctor asked, can you pay my money? Can you give the money for this? The woman said, I am very poor. But if you treat me and give me the vision, I will become a slave to you. Not only I, my children also. I and my children become a servant to you. Then this doctor cured her. She got the eyesight, but when she is getting the eyesight, she was worrying about the future. Now I am going to become a slave. Not only me, my children also. So she started becoming cunning. Now she is telling the doctor, my eyesight is getting worse than before. And this doctor knew what is going on. What did he do was, out of anger, out of hatred, he put some poison into her eyes and blind her completely. Now this is the karma. He had done many eons ago. And now he has to suffer. Even in the last physical body that he is ever going to be, he has to suffer as a blind man. The karma still followed, even to the last birth of his life, last birth of his existence. The karma still followed. Now there is a very similar story I found when I was reading this Edgar Cayce's story. Yeah? Edgar Cayce found this young man in England. He was blind by birth. When Edgar Cayce went to his past lives, you can read this book, Jinnah Sermenara's Many Mansions. Yeah, it is a thesis written for PhD. Very famous. Yeah. And in this book, this story is there that this Edgar Cayce went to his past lives to check what happened. Then he found this guy was born in Persia. Long time ago, before these civilizations to happen, This guy was born in a certain clan and he had a job. The job is to pluck out the eyes of the enemies. Whoever enemies they capture, they take out the eyes. This guy was the designated person to do that. And he blinded many people many a centuries ago. And now being born in England, he was born with the blindness. Yeah? Karma. Like the cartwheel. Bounded to the oxen will always follow. Yeah? When the good things are happening, we don't say it is my karma. Only when the bad things are happening, oh yeah, my karma. But all karma. Karma based on good intention, pure intention, without hatred, without anger, without greed, without delusion. And the karma, which we call the bad karma, done with an impure intention, which is based on hatred, delusion, and greed. So we can avoid. We cannot do much about our past karma. They have done, they are finished. Yeah? But today we can change our mind. Like the Matta Kundali changed himself. He just washed out his anger and filled his mind with happiness, and his next life was decided. Now there is another beautiful thing. With that I will finish this talk. Yeah, 1 hour is almost finished. In the Buddhist understanding, according to the teachers of our Buddha, what matters is present. Past is not the Buddha's concern. You draw a line, get out of the past and change, transform, become different to be good in the present moment. So your future is changed. Even just before the death, even just before your last moment of your life, if you can draw a line to the past and change, your future is good. This is another advice, silently given by Matta Kundali. He could draw a line to his very sad past, and at that present moment he was so happy, and his future was blissful. Yeah. Even he saw, when after he seeing the Buddha, still he was hanging on to his past. No way he can ever have such a blissful future life. Okay? That's enough for today. Sadhu. Let's dedicate all these merits to the Devas and the departed ones. Akasatta ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chiram rakkantu lokasasana. Akasatta ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chiram rakkantu lokasasana. Akasatta ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu lokasasanam. Idam me nyati nam hotu sukhita hontu nyateyo. Idam me nyati nam hotu sukhita hontu nyateyo. Idam me nyati nam hotu sukhita hontu nyateyo. Blessings. Dukkha roga bhayavera soka sabbe upadava anekantaraya pe vinassantu ca tejasa. Jaya siddhi dhanam labham sati bhagyam sukham balam Siriyayo cha vanno cha bhogam uddhi cha yasava Satavasa cha ayu cha jiva siddhi bhavantu te Ayurarogya sampatti Sagga sampatti mevacha Ato nibbana sampatti Iminate samijjatu